All right, let's talk a little sports here. And I'm talking about Roger Clemens, of course, former Yankee pitcher, as well as a host of others. It was acquitted yesterday on all counts of lying to Congress when he said he had never taken steroids or human growth hormones. So he's not going to prison, and he's not guilty. But the question is, will the Rocket ever make it to the Hall of Fame? His first shot of eligibility comes next year. Now, if you look at the back of his baseball card, you say, of course he is. Well, you'd say the same thing about Mark McGwire, and McGwire certainly hasn't, despite his popularity and his stats and his record-breaking years. At least he admitted steroid use, and as a consequence, after trying to get around it at testimony in Congress, he's been rejected 6 times by the voters. Palmero, remember him, the guy who wagged his finger to Congress in these same hearings? Well, he's been passed over twice, despite hitting more than 500 home runs, driving in more than 3,000 runs, et cetera here. You get the drift. And Barry Bonds, nobody expects this guy, even though I find anyone to debate that he was the greatest hitter of my generation, will be getting into the Hall of Fame anytime soon. All right, here's the debate. I think down deep we all think, come on, it doesn't smell right here. Something happened with Clemens. But he was acquitted, and we haven't seen the Mitchell report here, but by all accounts he's not in it. So my question is, if there's no smoking gun and no evidence, is innuendo enough if you were Hall of Fame voters to say, sorry, you're not getting in, certainly not the first time?
Yes. There's a bigger court than the actual court system in the real world, and that's called the court of public opinion. So I don't know what's going to happen in the Clemens case, but he's got a lot of sports writers that are very angry at him.
They should, to my mind, they should all be in the Hall of Fame, and they should all have an asterisk on their plaques that say admitted using steroids,
but he didn't.
or
what do you do with him?
Was accused of using steroids.
So now is accusing, Mr. Due Process.
I think there's plenty of evidence
but you can't have it. This is the problem. Look at Jeff Bagwell. If you know baseball, Jeff Bagwell, perennial all-star. All of a sudden, they put the testing policy. The guy shows up 40 pounds later the next year and looks. People don't even know who he is. Never even charged. Never even alleged. He's been passed over because people say it never added up. Howard, how do they handle this? You're a voter now for the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
How would you vote?
The Hall of Fame voters are dispensing vigilante justice. And that's not original from me. I read that in the sports column. And I think eventually, because there's so much subjectivity involved in this, I'm sure that they're going to treat a player that they liked, who was accessible to them for interviews and stuff like that, different from a player who may have used just as many drugs, who was an ornery guy to deal with. I would suggest to you that since we already have a rule that says you have to wait 5 years after retirement before you're eligible to the Hall of Fame, anyone who is determined to have used illegal drugs, but let the vigilante justice take place, but add another 5 or maybe even 10 years to their eligibility.
People now look at people and say, I bet you he used. I'm not sure of it, but I bet you well, right now it's enough for the voters to keep him out. But I'm with you. I don't know how you reconcile this. This is one time I'm glad I don't have a vote here. But Andrew, one guy no one's made the allegation about, and he's a local player, and I'll let you have a met. No, but he's doing some amazing stuff.
His name is Robert Allen Dickey, better known as R.A. Last night he pitched his second consecutive one-hitter against my other favorite team, the Orioles. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, Dickey, the first National League pitcher since 1944 to throw back-to-back one-hitters, the only pitcher ever to throw 5 straight games with no runs and 8+ strikeouts, closing in on the Mets' record for scoreless innings. And then there's just the guy. He's 37 years old. He's a knuckleballer, the hardest pitch to throw and throw accurately. And he's revived his career a couple of years ago like a movie character. Also, he admitted in a book to being the victim of a sexual abuse of a child and having suicidal thoughts as an adult. And he's making the argument that he should be the starting pitcher for the National League in the All-Star game right now.
And he climbed Kilimanjaro in the off-season. He's just a fascinating guy.
This guy's career was over 3 years ago. Buck Showalter said, learn how to throw a knuckleball, and now nobody can hit him. It's unbelievable.
By all accounts, one of the nicest guys here. And I thought courageous, him coming out saying how he suffered abuse as a child here to try and help some others. All right, Andrew, thank you.